Happy Victory Monday, Vikings fans, and welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. We're coming up on today's show. Justin Jefferson just gave the Minnesota Vikings some great news as he avoided a major injury this past Sunday. And then I do want to dive into the top overreactions from Week 2. What are my thoughts on Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores? What I think is coming up next for this Minnesota Vikings team. We'll talk about that all and more on today's show. But first off, I just want to say thank you guys so much. We crossed over 30,000 subscribers yesterday. We said we wanted to do it for CJ Ham. He ended up having a block punt in the game yesterday, which was pretty awesome. So if you guys could, hit that subscribe button, help us reach 31,000 subs here on the channel. But seriously, thank you guys so much for 30K. That is awesome. But we got a Justin Jefferson injury update here. This is coming in from Andrew Kramer right after the game, as he just tweeted out what Jefferson said in his post-game press conference, where he said, "It's a thigh bruise, contusion, whatever you want to call it," but then he carried on to say he expects to be ready for next week. Then Adam Schefter, late last night, said Minnesota Vikings receiver Justin Jefferson says he is not expecting to miss any games after leaving the team's 23-17 victory over the San Francisco 49ers because of a bruised right quad. Now, when this play happened on the field, I just assumed it was a Charlie horse. So, again, no real scare here, but it's great to hear that Justin Jefferson will be ready to go this Sunday versus the Houston Texans, and he was fantastic against the San Francisco 49ers this past weekend. You know, he obviously had that massive 97-yard touchdown where he, just got over the top on a double post move, and he just outran two Niner safeties to the end zone. But it's not just what he did with the ball in his hands. It's what he opens up for other receivers. Like we saw Jalen Naylor, we saw Brandon Powell, even the tight ends getting these one-on-one looks, and that's all because of Jefferson. The opposing defenses have to roll their coverage. They have to put two guys on him, but even when you put two guys on him, he is still able to have 4 receptions, 133 yards, and a touchdown. And I'll tell you what, guys, something I am very, very excited to watch this Sunday, as this is the revenge game of all revenge games. Stephon Diggs making his return to U.S. Bank Stadium. Danielle Hunter making his return to U.S. Bank Stadium. And then us Vikings, we got 2 Texans in Jonathan Gennard and Blake Cashman. And you also got Case Keenum, even though he won't be suiting up for Houston, but he's still on that team. But Jefferson versus Diggs this Sunday, I cannot wait, as we are seeing Jefferson hit the peaks of his NFL career. And I think Diggs is kind of on the way out of his prime. But let's dive into the top overreactions here. So Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores. This was my number one takeaway from the game, is that the Vikings coaching staff is absolutely elite, and it is a Super Bowl caliber coaching staff. And what they did to Kyle Shanahan and the Niners coaching staff yesterday was fantastic. They worked them all game long, offensively, defensively. I mean, the one play where Kevin O'Connell, he motions Jalen Naylor in tight, and then they motion him in just another half step over, and he is kind of hiding behind the left tackle and tight end. They go play action, and he is just butt naked in the back of the end zone. Both the Jalen Naylor touchdowns this season, he should go and be thanking Kevin O'Connell, because those are both scheme plays. He just schemed them wide open, and they're both beautiful play designs. But then also Brian Flores. He was fantastic yet again. He dominated Brian Dable and the New York Giants. He dominated Kyle Shanahan, the San Francisco 49ers offense. I understand they did not have McCaffrey, but they had Ayuk, who did nothing. Debo had a solid game. Kittle had a solid game, but they still had Trent Williams, Brock Purdy. They had the whole Avengers cast there just without McCaffrey. And in my opinion, Jordan Mason, he did a hell of a job. I really don't think there would have been that much of a difference if McCaffrey is in this game. But my identity and my thoughts on the Vikings' identity is that the coaching staff is that. And, what I mean by this is that every single game for the rest of the year, when I'm heading into it as a fan, I feel like the Vikings could win every single game because of their coaching staff. Excuse me, because of the scheme, because of the game plan, because of the adjustments we saw at halftime. I mean, this is week 2 of just an absolute clinic put on by those two. They are elite. I think they're top 5 coaching staff in the NFL, and I just can't wait to see them continuously develop in year 3 together. But number 2 for me, got to give credit to the quarterback here. Sam Darnold, number 14, Sammy Dimes. He put on a show yesterday, and, the most badass drive of the game was Justin Jefferson's out of the lineup. You don't have Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, or Jefferson. And the Niners just made it a one-score game where it was 20-14. And Sam Darnold led his offense on a 7-minute drive, completing multiple 3rd-and-longs, and led the Vikings to a field goal. And he was great all day. I mean, 17 of 26, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns, had the 1 interception, but that was just a hell of a play by Fred Warner. And that's going to happen. That's the Sam Darnold experience. He's still going to have to work out, these turnovers and such. But, I've been saying this for a while. This will be Sam Darnold's best season of his career. How good is that? We will still have to wait and see. But after watching the first 2 games, it's a whole lot better than I thought it was going to be. And just want to give all types of credit to 14. Saw him after the game. He was fired up. And you could just tell, like, his teammates and this whole organization really believes in him. And they want him to be successful. But also this, Sam Darnold being successful, you got to give a lot of it up to Kevin O'Connell. All credit to Sam as well, but I think this is just another KOC masterclass going on right now. But this is honestly, this is probably the 3rd biggest storyline from the game, and I think this is a storyline we're going to be talking about a whole lot more this season. The front 7, and this was the story of the game. Like, the Vikings front 7 got after it, more specifically the linebacker group. Blake Cashman and Ivan Pace and Andrew Van Ginkel were fantastic, and Cashman's stat line was unbelievable. 13 tackles, 3 pass breakups, a sack, a TFL, and a fumble recovery. That was fantastic out of Cashman. He was awesome all game long. And then Ivan Pace, obviously his stats aren't going to blow you away like Blake Cashman, but he was fantastic in the run game in spots, and he just brings that energy, and he's just that real bowling ball at the linebacker position. And then how about Andrew Van Ginkel? Another fantastic game. 4 tackles, a sack, 2 TFLs, and a PBU for Van Ginkel. And the craziest part was he almost jumped another screen pass. Like, I am not going to be shocked this year if Van Ginkel intercepts another screen pass and takes it for the house. He was great. But then an unsung hero of this group, Patrick Jones II. 4 sacks already on the year for Patrick Jones. And this is a rotational edge rusher. 5 tackles, 2 sacks yesterday, 2 TFLs, and obviously the 2 quarterbacks hits. I mean, this edge group is fantastic. You got 4 guys where, honestly, first-round pick Dallas Turner is the worst option. And the Vikings, both their first-round picks, are not really contributing. And those are the guys who you hope are the cornerstones of your franchise moving forward. This is a very talented football team, and I want to show love to the defensive coordinator. If you guys want to show some love to Brian Flores, hit that thumbs up icon. I want to get 500, 1,000 likes on today's show, as Brian Flores is truly, I think he is in the running right now for coordinator of the year in the entire league. But we'll talk more about the game here in a second. But I want to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Game Time. If you guys download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Now, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Now, my favorite feature of the app is the views from your seat feature, where you get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you even buy. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It is game time. Got that link for you guys in the comments and description of today's show. So the Vikings a lock for the playoffs. Well, the NFC North standings just dropped on this beautiful Monday morning. And what do you know? The Minnesota Vikings are at top of the NFC North. Now, if you looked at any divisional rankings heading into the year, any NFL analyst who was ranking the NFC North, this was at the bottom. They probably had the Lions, Packers, Bears, Vikings. Well, after 2 weeks, I understand it's just 2 weeks, but the Vikings are 2-0. And also, after watching the Chicago Bears last night, I've never been more correct about a football team. Their hype heading into the season was an absolute joke. They don't have an offensive line. I don't love their pass rush. They have a good defense overall, but they still have a rookie quarterback, and people like Nick Wright on First Things First were calling them to be a Super Bowl team. It is a joke. I think the Bears are the worst team in the division, and I think there's a gap. The coaching staff difference between Minnesota and Chicago is huge. I just never understood the Bears hype coming into the season, and they should be 0-2. They should have lost to the Titans in Week 1, but we'll talk about the Bears when we play them coming up. But my last takeaway is, this isn't the final form of the Minnesota Vikings. Reinforcements are coming. Obviously, we just got the great news around Justin Jefferson that he'll be back, but we also got two of the best weapons in the National Football League coming back here shortly. I'm assuming Jordan Addison should be ready to go against the Houston Texans this week. We only need to survive 2 more games against the Texans and Packers, and then hopefully we get Hawk back for the game versus the Jets. But coming off that bye, when we have the Detroit Lions at home, you should have the full arsenal of weapons of Jefferson, Darisaw, Hawkinson, Addison. The whole crew should be there. So overall, I think this team is obviously, you started off the year hot, but I don't even think we are near the max potential of this ball club. You know, I am just such a big believer in what Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores and what they have truly done for this organization, as they have just made it one of the better just organizations in the league from top to bottom. Like, it starts with the GM and Kwesi, then it goes to Kevin O'Connell, then it goes to your coordinators. Like, everything is A+. The talent on this roster also, when I was watching guys like Blake Cashman yesterday fly around the football field, I mean, this dude's a stud. Andrew Van Ginkel, he's a stud. Even Stephon Gilmore and Byron Murphy are corners. They were playing their ass off. There is so much talent on this defense. There's so much talent on this offense. It is going to continuously come down to the right arm of Sam Darnold. And I hate putting all that pressure, all that expectation on him, but it's the truth. If he plays like a top 15 quarterback in the NFL this season, I don't know what the potential is for the Vikings. Is it one playoff win? Is it an NFC championship performance? But with this coaching staff, that defense, this offensive line, this run game, and these weapons, if you just have number 14 playing solid football, the Vikings should be very, very successful this year. But hey, if you guys believe in the Vikings just as much as I do, give me a skull down below in the comment section. Get rowdy down there, as it's a great time to be a Vikings fan. And hopefully you guys all woke up a little more energetic this morning on this Victory Monday. But hey, if you guys also want to give me a follow on Twitter, that's a handle right there, @PatSieps. Give me a follow over there. I'll give you guys a follow right back. But thank you guys so much for watching today's show. As always, Skol Vikes.